What happens when a patient with a suspected knee injury must undergo an MRI scan? He might need approval from their health insurance or the health plan company first. This process is called prior authorization, in short PA, which involves multiple phone calls, paperwork, and potential approvals/denials, all while the patient experiences pain and delays in treatment. This complexity in the US healthcare, often overlooked, highlights the urgent need for comprehensive and sustainable reforms. Advancements in healthcare technology have undoubtedly improved care delivery. However, the journey to ensure that care reaches the end customer quickly and precisely remains a significant change. The introduction of AI, ML, and GenAI holds promise in addressing these challenges, signaling a potential shift in the healthcare landscape. Hello, everyone. So, this is Runki Goswami. I'm the head of marketing at Newgen Software, and today we have a special guest, Manish Jaiswal. He heads the healthcare vertical in Newgen. So Newgen is a 30-year-old software products and platform company that has grown leaps and bounds and has clients across the globe, of course, including US. So welcome, Manish. So tell a little bit about yourself, and thereafter we'll dive deep into the healthcare vertical.
Thank you, Runki, and welcome to United States. We are privileged to have you here, and it's an honor to have our head of marketing talking to us and taking a stock of how American healthcare is shaping up and what we do here in this part of the world.
Given your experience in this healthcare vertical, we are sure that we'll make quite good progress here. And often when I've spoken to you, you've mentioned about the 4 Ps of American healthcare. Would you want to talk about it a bit?
Sure, absolutely. Typically, if you look at from a distance, if folks are listening across the globe, when we talk about healthcare or focused, nuanced American healthcare, how do we define? Because if you look at broad stroke, we are talking about $4.5 trillion industry. So if this was a country, imagine this would have been bigger than the GDP of India. Clearly, after United States and China, perhaps American healthcare would have been the third largest country on planet Earth. So that's the size. Now, a lot of people do not get that how it has become such a big one. Give and take about 18% of American GDP goes into American healthcare. So if you collect all the Ps, I love to give them P1, P2, P3, and P4 because that makes it easier to understand who we are as an industry or as a domain. So P1 is typically payers or health plans, also known as health insurance companies, no different from any other, so to speak, health insurance company in the world, whether it's in Europe or in Asia or in India or in US. It's the same P1. The only difference is our P1 is called payers. It's by choice, it's called payers because everything is paid for. Literally everything is paid for. And we can double click it when we have more time on why we call it payers and why everything is paid for. But the P2 is providers and health system. Again, if you look at across the world, any hospital system, any nursing homes or anywhere where we get care, whether from the doctor, nurses, hospitals, or nursing facilities all fall into that P2 category. Again, P3 is nothing different across the world, falls into the same category of pharma and life sciences. All of us have heard, seen a lot of things. We saw that during the COVID, how the vaccines are, so to speak, get approved. So that's P3. P4 is us, Runki. P4 means either products, platforms, partners, so to speak, the technology which drives P1, P2, and P3. So essentially, we at Newgen Health or within the fold of Newgen Software, our aim and our endeavor is to support P1, P2, and P3. So that's my 4 Ps of American healthcare.
Well, interesting. You said American healthcare. So I believe it's not the 4P. Is it prevalent across all geographies or is it very, very particular to America?
Interesting question. I would say that yes, it should fall into all across the world, but typically, as I was explaining, in rest of the world, we love to call them health insurance or insurance per se, but insurance gets confused between property life and life insurance side of it. But ours healthcare, because it's a very matured market, and because of 4.5 trillion, and bulk of it from the payer perspective, where you have commercial health insurance, government health insurance, all baked together, plus P2 plus P3 and all the expenses of P4, it makes it large. So uh, because of sheer size, I would say American healthcare is very unique.
Hmm. And probably the regulations, does it also play a role when it comes to all the P's in American healthcare?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Great question. Yes. Unlike if you were to compare and contrast with, say, for example, India, if you were to set up a health insurance company in India, you just go to IRDA and you get your license, and you're good to have your policies across 29 states and across union territories. But in the United States, all the 50 states are regulated separately. So if you were to have a health plan, and you're dealing with the American citizens for health, or even for that matter, anyone who's working on the technology firm, maybe a visitor, on a short-term visa, who has an employee benefit, all that is governed by the laws of the land, particularly that state where that individual, he or she, resides. So yes, pretty much that is the broad stroke 10,000 feet difference. But in terms of regulations, I would imagine every other country would have a similar regulations, because uh, health is very, very important, I would imagine, for every government and every country.
And with this AI, ML, and of course now Gen AI, we can see a lot of progression happening in several areas. And I'm pretty sure it's impacting the healthcare industry as well. And we as Newgen, we are very much into it, into the thick of AI, ML, and now, of course, Gen AI. So, would you want to tell me a little bit about how this entire technology uh, thing is impacting healthcare, and what is it that we are going and telling the healthcare industry? Why should they come to Newgen at the end of the day with all this AI, ML, and Gen AI offerings that everybody is having, and we are also there? So, what is your take on that?
True, true, true. Absolutely, Ronki. Right. Another great question. And of course, that's agnostic to the industry, I believe. Now everybody wants to talk about, you pick up any platform company, you talk to any a modern company, whether it's a health plan, payers or providers, pharma, life sciences, any of the competitive landscape. I think AI has kind of changed the conversation. Earlier, we would talk about automation for AI, so to speak. Mostly people would understand that. But truly, if we were to look at now, and I've had privilege talking to a lot of C-level folks in the industry, it is no more just a simplistic conversation to be had. The decision makers, the folks who are in the claims world, folks who are in the health plan product development world, the folks who are even in the compliance world, literally every workflow or every aspect of healthcare, whether it's payers, providers, pharma, life sciences, AI is changing the game. And of course, Gen AI, has taken the leaps um, uh, big time, and presenting a credible solution to the market, saying that, okay, you just can't throw bodies to solve the problem. They really want, the clients want to see, the health plan would want to see, the Blues wants to see that, okay, can I depend on Newgen? And Newgen can really, really show and touch and feel show, just not the show in terms of talking about that, okay, if this was to be done, say, for example, if a product has to be launched into the market, how Newgen can help achieve the GTM. How Newgen could, platforms like, our ANG, PLM, our platform Newgen One for EDM, CCM, and BPM is different. And vis-a-vis the competition, and everybody talks about AI, but our AI approach is very nuanced. We are showcasing, and our engineers and our leadership is very committed that our software is absolutely driven both on low code as well as AI powered. So, we can double click it when we'll have larger time on our hand, how our software is different and how are we making changes. But suffice to tell you, AI is really, really helping make those, bring those solution to our clients, what they're looking for.
Well, this is what I was wanting to touch upon. In fact, your answer is giving me a segue into the next thought that's in my mind, which is AI or GenAI is a layer to the existing platform. So you know that we have our end-to-end transformation platform, which is Newgen One. And then if you break the entire pet peeves that our clients face, and I'm pretty sure it's relevant to the healthcare industry as well, which either falls in the section of the enterprise content management category or the BPM or the CCM, which is business process management or the client communication management. So if you have to break it into pieces, can you tell me some of the pet peeves that this industry is facing and how are we geared to solve these issues?
Sure, that's a great question, Rodke. Clearly, our horizontal platform, which has three very, very important component. In fact, that gives us one of its kind solution or enterprise solution in the market, that we are the only company, perhaps, and somebody has to tell me otherwise, that which has the ability to bring three enterprise modular software into one. That's what we call Newgen One. And those are first categories: enterprise document management, or EDM, or ECM, enterprise content management. It gets overlapped depending on who you're talking to. And then BPM, everybody understand what BPM is, business process management. These are itself humongous enterprise platform. And they exist in entirety in its own capability and on its own stand. And then you add CCM, which is customer-centric communication management software platform. All three put together makes our Newgen One for healthcare a very beautiful software. You can take a modular approach to it. You don't need to buy the whole humongous enterprise. You can pick up piece of it if you wish, or you could, because of our low capability and AI baked into that, a software could be, nuanced software could be created for an LOB related to a health plan or a provider of pharma life sciences. Case in point, our own point solution in healthcare payer world, which is provider lifecycle management, or ANG, or claims repair, clearly taking strength out of our horizontal platform. So that's where I would say, Runki, we differentiate.
So, do you think the next 2 to 3 years will see a completely different healthcare industry, or how much do you think software providers like Newgen will change its course of healthcare, maybe 2.0? And if you might want to throw some color on the investments that Newgen is committing to ensure the path of goal for the healthcare industry, and specific to America, of course.
Oh, fantastic question. And I love to wear an oracle hat on myself that I can predict the future, but I'll be very cautious here because American healthcare or healthcare domain within the United States is, as I shared, is the largest, $4.5 trillion. So not sure we can see ton of changes in next 2 years, but clearly, and I have spent 28 years in the space, give and take, actually 27, give and take. I definitely see, and I'm with you, and I'm very bullish about the role of AI and Gen AI making those accelerated change within the healthcare space. I wouldn't call it that it'll completely make it a new world order, but definitely you would see a healthcare 2.0 happening. And it's going to happen because, as I was sharing, and I want to double click on that aspect of it, is that clients do not want spend to be unchecked and uncontrolled. Yes, technology can solve every problem, but the CIOs, the chief operating officers, CFOs are asking it. Or chief medical officers are asking a direct question that, okay, how is your technology really bringing the change? Can it help me grow the business? Can it help me open new geographies? Can your technology help achieve GTM cheaper, better, and faster? So that's where the AI is going to bring a lot of changes. So gone those days, I would say, where simply somebody say that, hey, I have ability that I can throw in 200 people to solve your claims challenges. Client is saying, nope, I would want a technology to help solve that problem. So that's where I would see 2.0 is happening for sure. The board and the leadership is completely committed into the healthcare verticalization of Newgen. You are aware of the fact that we have made a lot of investments in terms of the new team. We are making a lot of investments of nuanced product, which is what market needs it. We are not just saying that, okay, here is a horizontal platform, just take it and be happy about it. We don't have a box approach to the market. Our approach is very, very nuanced to what market needs it. And as I was sharing with you earlier, that American healthcare is different, and it's different because it's segmented very categorically, P1, P2, P3. But if you peel the onion and you see that, okay, there are a lot of providers which went ahead and set up a health plan, right? So we call it payviders. Similarly, if you were to look at that, a typical terminology like clinical trials, which folks understand quickly, it's part of P3, but then clinical trials on who? You're talking about the patient which is coming from providers, right? So there's a lot of overlap and there's a lot of symbiotic relationship between payers, providers, and pharma life sciences. So clearly, from an investment perspective, Nugent board and our leaders, our CEO Jeet and our chief operating officer, including you guys, and Runki, you being head of marketing, you are very much plugged into how we are kind of looking at American healthcare in a very, very positive light. And therefore, the investments towards product, people, and processes are all factored in to achieve that goal to support our health plans, payers, support our providers, pharma life sciences, all that's, so that Nugent Help can help them achieve those outcomes, what they're looking for.
So thank you, Manish, so much for this discussion. It's been a great one. And of course, to all the viewers, this is just the first in the series. There's much more to follow where we will be doing a deep dive. So until then, stay tuned and thank you so much, Manish.
Thank you, Rinki. Absolutely.